Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be taking a look at the Fenix PD36 Tac flashlight. This flashlight was sent over for review purposes by Fenix, so I want to go ahead and thank them for that. This particular flashlight is a great example of a tactical flashlight. I wouldn't so much consider it an EDC flashlight as far as what I would consider an EDC flashlight, primarily because of the size. I tend to gravitate towards smaller flashlights for my EDC purposes, but I always like to have something bigger with a couple more options readily at hand, either in an EDC bag or in a bailout bag or maybe inside of my vehicle. I actually keep a larger tactical flashlight in my garage, and that's the one I use whenever I need a flashlight in there. So this would perfectly fit any of those scenarios. But also, if you're in an industry, maybe your job requires you to carry a larger size flashlight, maybe military, maybe law enforcement, security, something like that, I think the PD36 Tac is a great option for that. It has two different modes. It's got a duty mode and a tactical mode, and the beauty of it is it's very easy to switch between the two modes. You can instantly go from one mode to the other via a rotating bezel at the end of the flashlight. So as you can see from the packaging here, we have a turbo output of 3000 lumens, good for 274 meters, and it does include a 5000 milliamp battery. Now on the back of the packaging here, if you want to go ahead and pause the video, you have all the explanations as far as the modes and then the outputs and the run times. As you can see, in the tactical mode, you get a high output of 2000 lumens, and then in the duty mode, you get a turbo output of 3000 lumens. Now, I almost wish that they would have included that turbo mode in both the tactical mode and the duty mode, the same way that they included the strobe in both of those, but for some reason they just left the 3000 lumens turbo in the duty mode. But again, it's pretty easy to switch between one or the other, so if you really did need it, then you can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and open up the box and we can take a look at what all is included. Fenix does a pretty good job at including everything that you're going to need right inside of the box. So we'll go ahead and set this to the side. So here's the flashlight. We'll look at it in a second. And then underneath here, you have all the different things that come with it. So first things first, you do get a kind of holster here. It's nice and thin, which is really good. So if you're going to be carrying this flashlight like on a duty belt or something like that, it's not going to take up too much room. So again, just a Velcro closure right there, and the flashlight fits right in there. This is a USB-C cable, so this one being a USB-C, that's how you're going to charge up the battery. I like the fact that they did include it, and it is a good length. Sometimes flashlight companies will include a shorter one. This one is a good enough length to be able to charge up the battery. You have a spare O-ring, and then just some paperwork here, and then your user manual here as well. Again, 3000 lumens maximum output, 274 meter maximum beam distance. So I always recommend that you check out the manual to make sure that you know exactly how your flashlight is supposed to work. So here is the flashlight itself. Again, as you see it here in my hand, it is, for my purposes and for my liking, a little bit bigger than what I would use or what I would carry an EDC flashlight. But I will definitely be throwing this into an EDC bag and having it with me because of all the capabilities that it does have. So you do have a pocket clip right here that is in the middle. The clip orientation is so that the lens is actually facing down, which is nice because if you're going to have this in your pocket, you want it to face down. That way when you pull it out, it's ready to go. So you have a tail cap switch right here. This is the only switch on the light. And I do like that also because when you have a flashlight that has different modes and you have to contend with having a tail cap to turn it on or off and then a side switch to switch through the modes, it kind of gets a little confusing sometimes or a little bit cumbersome. So this one has it all in one. The tail cap switch will allow you to turn the flashlight on and off and then switch the modes as well. Underneath that, you have your rotating bezel here, which has 3 different settings. The one in the middle here is your lockout. So when that is set to the middle there, pressing the tail cap will, do nothing pretty much. So this is great because that way if you have it in a bag, you won't accidentally turn the light on and then waste the battery while it's in there. Rotating it to one side or the other will actually switch through the different modes. So if you see this little kind of cross right here, you rotate it that way and that'll put it into the tactical mode. And then if you rotate it the other way, which is this kind of like spiral design here, we'll put it into the duty mode. Towards the end here, you do have a slightly cannulated bezel. I wouldn't say that this is enough to do any particular damage if you had to use it for self-defense, but it is a little bit cannulated there. Nice stylings all the way through the flashlight body itself. Feels really nice in the hand. Very grippy, which is good if you have wet or sweaty hands or something like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the battery real quick. Again, this is a 5,000 milliamp battery. And here it is. This is a 21700 3.6 volt battery. And then right at the end here, you do have the portion where you're going to connect the USB-C charger to recharge the battery. And there's actually an LED right in the center of the terminal there that'll let you know when it's done charging. Putting it back in and putting the tail cap back on. Let's take a look at a couple of the different functions. So again, you have your rotating bezel here. As I mentioned, if you rotate it towards this side where the cross is, that'll put it into the tactical mode. You do have momentary on, which is if you lightly press it, it'll come on. And again, the only output on this is high output for 2000 lumens. So again, lightly pressing it, all it will do is turn on in 2000 lumens. If you want to go ahead and do constant on, then you just click it on, and then it'll stay on at that 2000 lumens. Now, this also has a strobe setting, so all you have to do is hold the button down for a couple seconds, and the strobe light will come on, and then you can go ahead and press it again to turn it off. So those are the two modes that you have in the tactical mode. Now, rotating the switch past the center lockout there to the other side, that is your duty mode. And the duty mode has different outputs. Again, lightly pressing it will cycle through those different outputs from eco to low to medium to high to turbo. And then once you get to the desired setting, you can just press down and then it'll stay on. So right now it is on eco. And just like on the tactical mode, if you press and hold for a couple seconds, you will get that turbo, and then just press and turn it off. Now you do have memory function on this, so if you turn it off and wait a couple seconds, if you turn it back on, it will come on the last mode that you left it. And then once you're done, you can just kind of rotate that bezel back to the lockout or turn it back to the tactical mode. So as I mentioned, this flashlight is very easy to transition from the two different modes. So depending on what you're going to be using it for, what your needs are going to be, maybe you know that you're going to want at least that 2000 lumens high every time that you turn that, you press that tail cap, then you can have it on the tactical mode, and then you're always going to have the ability to go right into the turbo as well from either one of the two modes. Or if you want, maybe preserve a little bit of the battery life, or you definitely do want that high output of the turbo at the 3000 lumens, then you can just go ahead and rotate it to duty mode, and then you'll have the full 3000 lumens good for an hour and 30 minutes. Now there is an asterisk next to that because there will be the light will ramp down a little bit if it gets too hot to be able to preserve that. So I'll take the flashlight outside and show you guys a couple of beam shots, and then we'll come back inside and wrap it up. All right, so we're currently outside the house, standing in the street here. I'll go ahead and show you the PD36 Tac in the tactical mode using the 2000 lumen output. So turning the light on here, as you guys can see, it shines the light all the way down the streets here. So this is a perfect light to use for the majority of purposes that you would need an EDC flashlight or a tactical flashlight for. But if you were to need it for like any type of search and rescue, maybe you're looking for somebody or something like that, this light is gonna be perfect for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of different applications now. So switching now to the duty mode, again, if you press the flashlight, you can cycle through the different light outputs. So if you don't need too much light, maybe you can use this eco mode right here. You're just kind of walking down the sidewalk. Maybe you're walking the dog or something like that, taking the trash out. You don't want to overdo the lighting. This is perfect for that purpose. And as you guys can see right in front of here, there is other lights, street lights and stuff like that. But this is perfect. And then if you just wanted to,
kind of ramp up, maybe you see something else and you wanted to, give a little bit more lighting, you can go ahead and do that, especially using this duty mode here. All right, we're taking a walk now to the backyard. I'll go ahead and still on duty mode, but I'm going to be using the full turbo 3000 lumens here. So you guys can see it is lighting up the backyard here very, very nicely. I can easily walk down this way and see everything in front of me. As I turn here, you can see everything in the backyard is lit up. Every single corner, every area. So this is perfect. Again, if you're going to need it for EDC tasks or for any tactical applications, the PD36 Tac will definitely be able to handle whatever you throw at it.
Alright guys, so as you can see, this is a very, very capable flashlight. I like the fact that you have an easy way to transition from one mode to the other. You don't have to worry about, pressing a side switch and then a different combination or something like that to put it into one mode or into another, holding it for 5 seconds or something like that, like some of the other flashlights have. This is just as easy as rotating it from one side to the other, and then you have the different outputs to be able to do that. Again, I like the fact that they only have the tail cap. Again, that takes away from having to worry about what switch does what, and the fact that you have the momentary on and then the constant on, very easily accessible to you right with that tail cap switch, is really, really awesome. The lockout feature is great too. Again, if you have this in a bag, it's not going to be, you're not going to have to worry about it coming on and draining the battery or getting too hot inside of the bag and maybe catching a fire or something like that. But it's just really thoughtful process in the way that they did this. So if you guys are interested in picking one of these up or finding some more information, I will leave a link below to the Fenix website where you guys can check it out. Again, this is the Fenix PD36 Tac light. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.